Quick heads up before we get started. I'm not a doctor, and nothing in this show is medical advice. Always talk to your own physician before starting anything new, especially if you're pregnant, nursing, or on medication. Okay, let's get into it. Magnesium is one of those supplements that looks simple until you actually try to buy it. You walk in thinking, I need magnesium. And then the shelf says, glycinate, citrate, oxide, malate, threonate, taurate, chloride, gummies, powders, sprays, sleep blends, calm blends, muscle blends, stress blends. Suddenly, this mineral has a cast of characters, and the internet does not make it easier. One person says magnesium changed their sleep. Another says it helped their muscles. Another says the wrong form is useless. Another says the wrong form will send you directly to the bathroom. So today, we're going to make magnesium easier to understand. Why does your body need it? Why are there so many types? What are people usually trying to get from it? And how do you think about magnesium in a way that is positive, practical, and not overpromised? Let's stack it up. Welcome back to the Stack Genius Show. I'm Morgan. Today is a deep dive on magnesium, and I think this is a great Stack Genius topic because magnesium is not just a question of, should I take it? It is a question of what form, what goal, what dose, what other ingredients, what safety context, and what expectations. That is exactly where supplement decisions can get messy. Magnesium is an essential mineral. Your body uses it. You need it. But that does not mean every magnesium product is the same, and it does not mean every magnesium claim deserves the same confidence. So the goal today is not to make magnesium sound magical. The goal is to give you a clean mental map. By the end, you should understand why magnesium shows up in so many wellness conversations, why different forms exist, why sleep claims are popular but need careful wording, and how to look at a magnesium label before you buy. Let's start with the body. Magnesium is involved in hundreds of enzyme reactions. That phrase gets used a lot, and it sounds impressive, but it can also become meaningless if we do not slow it down. In plain English, magnesium helps your body run normal processes. It is involved in energy production, muscle contraction and relaxation, nerve signaling, blood glucose regulation, bone health, protein synthesis, normal heart rhythm. That does not mean magnesium supplements solve all of those things. It means magnesium is part of the machinery. And this is where people sometimes make the first leap. They hear, magnesium is involved in muscle function, and the marketing turns that into, this product fixes cramps. They hear, magnesium is involved in nervous system function, and the marketing turns that into, this product cures stress. They hear, magnesium participates in normal sleep-related biology, and the marketing turns that into, take this and you will sleep perfectly. That leap is where we have to be careful. The mineral matters, deficiency matters, intake matters, but a supplement is not automatically a fix for every process the mineral touches. So why do people look for magnesium supplements in the first place? Usually, it is one of a few reasons. Sleep is a big one. People want to fall asleep more easily, stay asleep, or feel less wound up at night. Magnesium gets pulled into that conversation because of its role in muscle and nervous system function, and because some people report that certain forms feel calming. Muscle function is another one. People hear about magnesium for cramps, tightness, workouts, recovery, or general muscle support. Digestion is another. Some forms of magnesium can pull water into the intestines, which is why magnesium citrate and some other forms may have a laxative effect. Then there is general wellness. People hear that many adults do not get enough magnesium from diet, or they see magnesium in electrolyte blends, sleep blends, stress blends, and multivitamins. And then they wonder, am I missing something? That is a reasonable question, but it needs a reasonable answer. Before we get to capsules and powders, we should say something boring and important. Magnesium is in food. You can get magnesium from foods like nuts, seeds, legumes, whole grains, leafy greens, and some fortified foods. Pumpkin seeds are a classic example. Almonds, cashews, black beans, spinach, oats, brown rice. That does not mean everyone is getting enough. Modern diets vary a lot. Food access varies. Calorie intake varies. Restrictive diets vary. But magnesium is not an exotic compound that only exists in a sleep gummy. It is a mineral your diet can contribute to every day. And that matters, because if someone is low in magnesium intake, the most durable fix may not be a heroic supplement routine. It may be improving the basic food pattern, if that is realistic for them. Supplementation can still make sense for some people, but stack genius thinking starts with the whole stack. Food, sleep, training, medications, health context, other supplements, then the new product. Not just the most convincing label on the shelf. Now, let's talk about the confusing part, the types. Magnesium is a mineral, but in supplements it is usually bound to another compound. That combination is called a magnesium salt or chelate, depending on the form. This is why you see names like magnesium glycinate, magnesium citrate, magnesium oxide, magnesium malate, magnesium threonate, magnesium taurate, and magnesium chloride. The magnesium part is the mineral. The second part affects things like absorption, tolerability, cost, pill size, and sometimes the way people choose the product for a specific goal. It is a little like saying vehicle. A bicycle, a sedan, and a delivery truck are all vehicles, but you would not use them the same way. Magnesium forms are not identical just because they share the word magnesium. That is why the form matters on the label. Let's start with magnesium glycinate. This is one of the most popular forms right now, especially in sleep and calm-positioned products. Magnesium glycinate is magnesium bound to glycine, an amino acid. It is often marketed as gentle on the stomach and less likely to cause a laxative effect compared with some other forms. That is part of why people reach for it when they want magnesium, but do not want digestive surprises. It is also why you see it in nighttime products. Now, we should be careful here. Magnesium glycinate is not a sleeping pill. It is not a treatment for insomnia. It is not guaranteed to make you feel calm. But if someone is exploring magnesium for evening use, and they are trying to avoid the bathroom side of magnesium, glycinate is one of the forms people commonly consider. That does not mean it is the best for every person. It means it has a reasonable place in the conversation. Magnesium citrate is another common form. This one is magnesium bound to citric acid. It tends to be more associated with digestion because magnesium citrate can have a laxative effect, especially at higher amounts. That can be useful in certain contexts, but it can also be very unwanted if you thought you were buying a gentle nighttime supplement. This is one of the biggest practical magnesium lessons. The form can change the experience. If someone says, magnesium upset my stomach, they may not be reacting to magnesium as a category. They may be reacting to a specific form, amount, product, or combination. And if someone says, magnesium helped my constipation, they may have been using a form that is more likely to affect the gut. Same mineral family, different practical outcome. Magnesium oxide is common because it is inexpensive and contains a high percentage of elemental magnesium by weight. That sounds great on a label, but magnesium oxide is often discussed as less well absorbed than some other forms. It may still be used in certain products, and it may still have effects, especially digestive effects for some people. But if someone is buying magnesium oxide because the number on the front looks high, they should slow down and read the actual supplement facts panel. This is a good example of why label literacy matters. A product can advertise a large magnesium number, but the form, serving size, tolerability, and actual goal all matter. More milligrams on the front is not automatically a better supplement. Here is one label concept that helps a lot: elemental magnesium. When a label says magnesium glycinate or magnesium citrate, the total compound includes magnesium plus the thing it is bound to. The number that matters nutritionally is elemental magnesium. That is the actual amount of magnesium. Good labels should make this clear in the supplement facts panel. For example, a product might say magnesium as magnesium glycinate, and then list the amount of magnesium per serving. This is one reason supplement labels can feel confusing. The form is important, but the elemental amount is also important. And the serving size matters too. Maybe the serving is 1 capsule. Maybe it is 3 capsules. Maybe it is 2 gummies with added sugar. Maybe it is a powder scoop that also includes herbs, melatonin, or other minerals. The front label tells a story. The supplement facts panel tells you what you are actually taking. Read the panel. Now let's spend real time on sleep, because this is probably the most common reason people get curious about magnesium. Sleep is also where we need to be the most careful. Some people say magnesium helps them wind down. Some people use magnesium glycinate as part of an evening routine. Some products combine magnesium with ingredients like L-theanine, glycine, apigenin, GABA, or melatonin. And some people truly feel better with a consistent bedtime supplement ritual. That is all worth acknowledging. But sleep is complicated. Sleep can be affected by stress, caffeine, alcohol, light exposure, screen habits, shift work, pain, medications, hormones, sleep apnea, anxiety, depression, room temperature, timing of exercise, and a dozen other things. So if someone is sleeping badly, magnesium might be one piece to explore, but it should not be treated as the whole answer. The positive, practical version is this. Magnesium may be worth understanding if you are building a calm nighttime routine, especially if your diet might be low in magnesium or you are choosing between different sleep-positioned supplements. The overpromised version is, take this and your insomnia is fixed. We are not doing that. And if someone has persistent sleep problems, severe insomnia, breathing issues during sleep, or daytime sleepiness that affects life, that belongs with a qualified professional. Magnesium also gets talked about for muscles. This makes intuitive sense because magnesium is involved in normal muscle function. People associate it with cramps, tightness, soreness, workouts, and recovery. But again, involvement is not the same as a guaranteed fix. Muscle cramps can have many contributors: training load, hydration, electrolyte balance, medications, pregnancy, circulation, nerve issues, and medical conditions. Magnesium status may matter for some people, but if someone has frequent or severe cramps, they should not assume the answer is simply a supplement. For the everyday wellness listener, magnesium can be part of the muscle function conversation. It may be especially relevant if dietary intake is low, if the product is well chosen, and if expectations are realistic. But if the claim is, this will stop cramps tonight, be skeptical. Useful does not have to mean miraculous. The digestion angle is more direct for some forms. Certain magnesium forms can loosen stool or have a laxative effect. Magnesium citrate is the classic example people hear about. This can be helpful for some people in some situations, but it can also be the exact wrong outcome. If you are choosing magnesium for sleep and accidentally choose a form that your gut strongly responds to, your relaxing evening routine may become a bathroom routine, not the vibe. This is why magnesium is not enough information. The product form matters, the amount matters, your body matters. And if constipation is chronic, severe, new, or connected to medication or a medical condition, that is another clinician conversation. Now, safety. Magnesium from food is generally not a concern for most people because the body handles excess from food differently. Supplemental magnesium is different. High amounts from supplements can cause diarrhea, nausea, cramping, and in more serious cases, too much magnesium in the blood. People with kidney disease or reduced kidney function need to be especially careful because the kidneys help regulate magnesium levels. If your kidneys are not clearing magnesium normally, supplementation can become risky. Medication interactions also matter. Magnesium can interfere with absorption of some medications if taken too close together, including certain antibiotics, thyroid medication, and osteoporosis medications. That does not mean nobody on medication can take magnesium. It means timing and medical context matter. Pregnancy, nursing, kids, teenagers, kidney concerns, heart rhythm issues, medical conditions, and complex medication lists all move this into ask a qualified clinician territory. And because magnesium is often included in multivitamins, electrolytes, sleep blends, greens powders, and laxatives, people can accidentally stack it without realizing. One magnesium capsule may not be the only magnesium in your day. That is a very stack genius point. Your stack is the total, not the product you are currently holding. So, how should someone think about choosing a magnesium product? Start with the reason. Are you trying to improve low dietary intake, build a nighttime routine, avoid digestive effects, address constipation under guidance, compare forms, simplify a messy supplement cabinet? The reason changes the product. Then check the form. Glycinate is commonly chosen for gentler, evening-positioned use. Citrate is commonly associated with digestion and may be more likely to loosen stool. Oxide is common and inexpensive, but may be less well absorbed and may still have digestive effects. Malate is often positioned for daytime or muscle energy support. L-threonate is often positioned around cognitive health, but can be more expensive and should not be treated as magic brain fuel. Then check the elemental amount. Do not just trust the front of the bottle. Then check the serving size. If the serving is 3 capsules, ask whether you actually want to take 3 capsules every day. Then check what else is in it. Sleep blends may include melatonin or sedating herbs. Electrolyte powders may include sodium, potassium, sugar, caffeine, or other ingredients. Calm gummies may include sweeteners or extra botanicals. And if a product has a long proprietary blend, be careful. You cannot evaluate what you cannot see. This is exactly why Stack Genius exists. Not because everyone needs magnesium, not because one form is always best, but because supplement labels are complicated, and most people are trying to make decisions with partial information. One product says magnesium glycinate for calm. Another says magnesium citrate for digestion. Another says magnesium complex with 4 forms. Another says sleep blend, but the magnesium is only one small part of the formula. If you are comparing those products in your head while standing in a store aisle, good luck. Stack Genius helps you organize your supplements, compare labels, understand what is in your stack, and make smarter decisions before you buy. Because the goal is not to take more. The goal is to understand what you are taking. Here is the bottom line. Magnesium is an essential mineral with real roles in the body. It is involved in energy production, muscle function, nerve signaling, and more. But magnesium supplements are not all the same, and magnesium claims should not all be treated the same. Glycinate, citrate, oxide, malate, threonate, and other forms can differ in absorption, tolerability, cost, and how people use them. Sleep is one of the biggest reasons people get interested, and magnesium may be worth understanding as part of a calm evening routine, but it is not a guaranteed sleep fix. Muscle support is another reasonable area of interest, but cramps and soreness can have many causes. Digestion is where some forms may have a very noticeable effect, for better or worse. And safety matters. Kidney concerns, pregnancy, nursing, kids, medications, medical conditions, and high-dose use all deserve extra caution. So if you are magnesium curious, be positive, but be precise. Know your reason. Read the label. Check the form. Check the amount. Look at your whole stack. And when the health context is more complicated, bring a clinician into the decision. Until next time, this is Morgan. Let's stack it up. If today's episode made you look at your supplement shelf a little differently, that is the whole point. Stack Genius helps you keep track of what you take, spot ingredient overlap, and make your stack easier to understand. Download Stack Genius on the Apple App Store or Google Play Store and start cleaning up the guesswork. Until next time, this is Morgan. Let's stack it up.